This video is the conclusion of my playthrough of Axis Empires. And as we know, the war in Europe has already ended. And it was obviously an Allied victory, but actually the German Axis won the game because the Allies did not win by a large enough margin. We are now in the autumn of 1945 in the Pacific. It's August and September, and at this point the victory table is set at Allied Crusade 2 victory points. And the US commitment level, of course, is now completely maxed out. So we're going to reveal the strategy, and the Japanese commander plays the peace offer strategy. And this policy calls for a die roll on the negotiations table, but the result is the negotiations fail. Then the Allies implement the Manhattan Project. So they are launching an atomic attack against mainland Japan, and this is successful. Also, the Allies, particularly the United States, strike at Formosa again with complete naval superiority and air support, and this time the fortress falls. You can see that here in the picture that I have here showing the conquest of Formosa. Then the Soviets implement their event August Storm Offensive, and airborne troops are moved into the theater along with air support, and Russia, of course, finally declares war on Japan. You can see in the picture here I have some Russian units on the border with Manchuria and in Vladivostok. That is going to bring the August-September portion of the season to an end, and we're going to now move on to September and October of 1945. So the Japanese player is playing this policy for peace, and they return to the political table, and the die roll fails, the negotiations fail again. The United States launches another atomic attack, and it is again successful. Meanwhile, as I guess you can see in the picture, the results of these attacks on mainland Japan. The Soviets attack in Manchuria, and they have a blitz, but it is neutralized by an exchange result. However, the Manchurian troops do succumb during the regular combat phase, and Harbin falls to the Soviets. You can see that depicted in the picture here. The net strategic total is now 10 points in favor of the Allies. This puts the Allied crusade marker to 3 victory points. And since the Japanese mandate is in the 3 victory point box, the Allies actually need 3 more strategic hexes to win the game, even though obviously by looking at the map, they are winning the war. I think I could likely do this, but I have decided, to call the game here in the end of at the end of the year here in 1945, because I want to keep this on the historical rails. Anyway, it's quite a good game. I'll make just a couple of comments here. Even though it's fun to have the different strategies that you can pick from, and I went mostly historical, the way they're designed, though, is that they're a decision tree, and they kind of lead back to the same places, just in different ways. So the game doesn't really go off the rails too much from those choices. However, you do kind of need to know some of the cards to know what their prerequisites for other cards to be played later. So, when you discover those things, it affects how you're going to choose your strategy, especially if you make an error. But overall, it's a good game. This is basically the first edition of Axis Empires. I know there's a new deluxe edition out, but I'm not going to get that simply because this one is good enough for me. and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I think that if you like a game at this scope, that you will enjoy this one as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, especially if you've stuck with me through, all 38 videos. Anyway, have a great day.